Serious, what secret could destroy your life if it got out? I grew up and still live in Turkey. Majority of the population is Muslim, as you probably already know. Maybe you are Turkish even. What I am trying to say is, while I am not gay, I am much happier since I let go of religion altogether. Not in one day but in a few months I just pushed it out of my life and stopped it from dictating my behavior. I sincerely feel like I haven't lived before. I'm not trying to trick Allah out of you or spew atheist propaganda. I feel truly hurt when I see a fellow human being sad because of a belief system they had no choice being born into. Please consider thinking about it and see if you can distance your thoughts away from religious criticism. If you cannot, please remember Allah is all forgiving and being a nice, loving human being is the highest praise you can give Him and His Prophet. All hate is a human construct that can be overcome by good people. A God that can't forgive a simple mortal for having harmless sexual activities is not all forgiving or worthy of respect anyway. Hope you can find peace of mind. Minor grammar. Obtaining wealth. One quickly realizes that happiness demands action. Health demands action. Unfortunately, wealth does not remove these requirements. Go to the gym. Pick up programming. You have time 99 of people could only dream of. You may never have to experience certain trials in your life. Make use of this opportunity and exert at least 70 of the energy that you would have in making a life for yourself, into making a life for yourself.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please, like and subscribe.
No one will read this. I am sure. But I'm 24. When I was 11, I had a soccer goal, toy, Lego footballs, and 2 figurines. I made fixtures for some made-up team and players, and played the matches. One season lasts 42 matches and there are 12 different teams, and I commentate them like it's a TV show. Other than that, I have made 10 different cup fixtures. Playing with the toys usually take 20 minutes. Well, 41 seasons later, and 152 cups, I'm still playing. Mostly when I know no one is around. I even debate the matches in my head, whenever I'm showering or trying to sleep. I just play with the figurines, and score goals using them for movement, and ball movement. I have a lot of books filled with imaginary results, etc. I feel like a dumbass. Whoa, Thowink, this would be buried. You made me feel happy about my weird hobby. I'll read through all the replies ASAP. Pick time. I hope no one I know recognize any of it. Here's the figurines, very worn out. Yes, it's Han Solo. This is some of the papers, like 15. I'm amazed how much this blew up. I was scared about sharing it, but you all made me so happy that this will probably be a lifetime hobby. Thank you all very much. I read every single message, and I appreciate your thoughts, kind words, and similar stuff you guys do. Normally people don't tend to care about me. So it's rather overwhelming answering all your questions, opinions. Made my day. Thanks. Yet another edit. But if you want to ask something regarding stats, player, results, champions, etc., ask away. Smile, I'd love to share with you. You'd be surprised how common this is. And sexual experimentation as a teenager is not an indication of sexual preference, he very well could be straight. Today I learned that a lot of Redditors don't understand sexuality. Who am I kidding? I already knew that. Edit to stop the question. No, I will not give an exact location. No, not even via PM. I created a throwaway because, though it seems kind of stupid, it could absolutely destroy everything I have built up. I am employed by a company that allows people to work remotely. They only hire in specific states in the US. Not only do I not live in one of those states, I don't even live in the US. I am a US citizen but am currently not in the US, and it's because of this job and the shitty economy in the country I'm in I get to live a pretty damned lavish life. For every $1 it's worth about 600 more here because the currency is weak, getting weaker, and it's just cheap as shit to live here anyways. I've been working for months and I've had some close calls. I screwed up a couple of times and they questioned me about it. I had to lie. You would be surprised, often the nicest, most caring people have depression, or have in the past, and use their kindness towards others as a way to reduce their burden on the world. If you want to talk, PM me. I dealt with crippling depression a few years ago, and sometimes still feel it creeping back. This isn't something you can hope or wish away. That's what I tried to do, and I almost died several times because of it. The best thing you can do is talk about it, especially with a therapist. And believe me, while some people don't understand what you're going through, many do. And they only want to help. Because in some way, they care. Hell, I've never met you in my life, and I care. Because I've been there. If you need anything at all, PM me. Here's the kicker, you'll leave your loving family when you're abusing drugs, too. I lost my little cousin to meth. She should have been a bridesmaid at my wedding. She should have gotten a chance to meet my little nephew. She should have fallen in love. She should have seen her sister graduate high school. Depression and suicide turned into addiction and delayed suicide. It was all the same in the end. Please get help, throw away obviously. When I was about 1112, the guy in the flat next door was a computer nerd type, and I got interested in learning a little 1980-ish. To cut a long story short, he groomed me over a period of time. I found he had child pornography magazines and videos. It got as far as hugs and kisses, and then he tried to feel me up. That's the point at which my brain kicked into action and I legged it. I was intensely scared, ashamed, and somewhat retreated into myself. I realized my parents, and specifically my mother, knew something wasn't right in this odd child-adult relationship. And didn't act on their suspicions. That totally fucked with my mind and led to many years of confusion and introspection, and if I'm honest, some fucked up attitudes to people from myself. I told one girlfriend many years back, and she basically blanked it out, didn't want to discuss it, and made it fairly plain she wasn't sympathetic or could be of any help. I've managed to get past most of the issues around it, but I sometimes find myself watching TV films or documentaries where the grooming subject comes up and hits me again. Watching the Ray Donovan series brought it up. Specifically where Bunchy has problems dealing with his past abuse. One scene I had to get up and leave the room before I went off and burst into tears in front of my wife. She paused it too so I wouldn't miss anything. I have gained some good things. I am quietly proud that I am assured of my sexuality straight without any difficulties in having gay friends. That could have gone very differently. I have a family, and have learned to be sociable, and have managed to create some level of trust with people. It still burns inside though at times. I have sort of accepted that it's something I will take with me to the grave. Thank you all who have replied. I didn't expect such a response. I think the route for me now is to quietly investigate some private counseling. I don't need to call a family meeting and take the stand and make an announcement. But some quiet non-judgmental conversation on it may well be very beneficial to me. Thank you all again. How I really feel about myself. It would lead to both people being driven away from me, and people empathizing for me. I would hate the people who stayed with me, probably yell at them, drive them away. Then I would be alone, and have nothing to live for. So, for now, I put on my facade and move on. Killing, holding in captivity, and having sex with things, all without their consent, are very different actions with different moral considerations. For example, we consider it morally acceptable to kill a living human suffering from severe brain damage, vegetable, but nobody would ever say, well, we can ethically kill them without their consent, so it just makes sense that we can ethically rape them as well. To the multiple responses asking what's so bad about raping a brain-dead person? Our culture has a very reasonable and strong taboo against sex between entities of different intellectual capacity. We see this in all kinds of moral rules. You shouldn't have sex with a mentally handicapped person. You shouldn't have sex with children or even teenagers. You shouldn't have sex with someone who is passed out or even significantly drugged incapacitated. You shouldn't have sex with a brain-dead person or corpse, and you shouldn't have sex with animals. We say that these entities can't consent, but what we mean is, they can't consent with someone of higher intellectual ability who has the ability and motivation to manipulate and control them for purposes of their own sexual gratification. Notice that we are more forgiving of allowing consent between those same individuals with others on roughly similar levels, teenagers of roughly the same age, mentally handicapped who marry each other and presumably have, and consent to, sex with each other, a pair of equally drunk individuals, animals with other animals, etc. The concern and taboo prohibition is specifically centered around preventing abuse and manipulation by forbidding outlawing these problematic power dynamics entirely because one of the parties is not capable of meaningfully objecting to, recognizing, or reporting abuse when it does happen, even if it doesn't occur in every instance. Since those entities cannot report that they are being abused, society has decided that any theoretical value from sex with children or sex with animals interactions, for example, does not outweigh the harm from manipulation abuse, which is made easier by allowing those types of power dynamics to exist in sexual relationships. Even if NAMBLA were to trot out a theoretical, perfect example of boy-man love sexuality that didn't harm that child, we would, mostly, still answer, sorry. The very potential for people to train their children to be their own sexual slaves, and like it, means that we don't allow your type of relationship to exist. The problems with enforcement, differentiation, etc. are just too great, and the damage done to those who are abused is far too high to justify the small benefit you individually would get from such a relationship. The same goes for every other type of unable to consent situation, including with animals.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs that kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillar Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
I was arrested for putting a guy in the hospital, but no charges were filed because there were many witnesses coming forward saying he had a knife and attacked me first. That's not true. The truth is the guy hit his girlfriend, one of my close friends, and one day after he beat her so bad she had to go to the hospital, I just lost it and started beating the ever-living shit out of him. Everyone there knew what he had done and lied to the cops because of it. That just might be the quintessential MDMA moment. As it happens, I was on MDMA last weekend, and I had a great conversation with my best friend, we're both guys, where we actually said out loud that we were each other's best friend. It was a pretty big deal for us. I mean, when do you actually say that to people? I love that drug exists. I really want to post nudes on Reddit. I get off on the idea of people looking at and enjoying my body but not being able to actually touch it. I like showing off my body. But I have a wonderful boyfriend, long distance, whom I'm very much in love with, who would be devastated if I ever did. I have this throwaway that I made while drunk one night that I don't know if I'll ever actually use. The idea taunts me more and more, and it doesn't help that I have pent up sexual urges from not seeing my so very often, or that he doesn't like sexting. Oh dear God. And no, I will not send PMs. I'm in class right now, college, I'm legal, I promise, so I'll be MIA, thanks for all the feedback and advice. Seriously, I'm glad I'm not the only one in this predicament. I posted this as a rant before going to bed and inadvertently opened up a floodgate. I'm definitely thinking about having a convo with my so if we come to an agreement, well, you all know where to look now. Smile, I have a disability. The internet doesn't know that I'm disabled. I am a developer, followed by up to 500 people on Twitter, and nobody ever saw me or listened my voice. I don't want to reveal that because I'm scared it would destroy my reputation. I know, I'm too much negative and I should relax and simply come out. The problem is that, in real life, I am really disadvantaged by my disability. Sorry if my English is a bit wobbly, I'm not a native speaker. My inbox blew up with investment opportunities, poor parents who can't afford living, etc. This is exactly the reason for why I haven't told any of my friends or family, because they would bombard me with advice on how I can feel good about supporting their miserable lives, as they say, etc. Hearing these stories only makes everything even worse. I think I will travel somewhere alone for a couple of months and think things through. Thanks for all the good replies. I will also talk to a financial advisor. Yes, the best cure for paranoid schizophrenia is to shake your head and say, gosh darn it, delusions, you don't really exist. I'm just gonna think about something else. It absolutely does not get better. This is spot on advice for a gay teenager in a conservative family, but schizophrenia doesn't work like that. It gets worse and worse if not treated and actively monitored by someone other than the person having the delusions. You can't will your brain to not have delusions because your brain is what is malfunctioning. This one really would destroy my life. I have suicidal ideation fairly frequently. I'm terrified of death and would never actually kill myself, but I fantasize about killing myself a lot, especially when I'm stressed or tired or PMSing. I've mentally composed more suicide notes than I can possibly imagine. If I ever tell a doctor about it, my life as a free unmedicated woman is over. I'm terrified of mental hospitals and of psychiatric medication. I never told anyone about how I feel. A doctor would instantly confine me to a mental hospital, and a friend or family member would either panic or just think I'm some sort of drama queen. Brought a knife to school to kill a kid, couldn't do it. I was a very angry, very lonely kid for a long time. That sort of piled up into an uncontrollable rage sometimes, and decided I had enough. At the end of school I saw him on the playground. I still had the knife in my pocket, but my dad miraculously saw me from the parking lot. I didn't get to do it. Then I realized my mistake. Wow, actually made it to the top of the dark secrets thread. Damn. Right, time for some real shit. I am also you thadam girl, and this isn't even the tip of the iceberg for me. I could go all day long. No. I am not Dexter fucking Morgan, don't need to keep pinging me about it. Oh yeah, and for those of you curious of my other accounts fucked up heavy metal music, another thing I've been hearing a lot of, it would be something like this music video, used to cut myself to that video. Now when I see it, I only feel a wave of fear and regret. Also, it had to have violence or satanic imagery in it for me to watch or listen to, before you ask. Still not Dexter, nice try. I often wank to pictures of many of my female friends' photos on Facebook. It's probably not entirely uncommon, but if any of them were to find out, there's a very good chance I would lose damage many close relationships I have. I live in comfort knowing the rest of Reddit does this as well. We're a bunch of sick fucks. To all the gay people in this thread, it really does get better. 17 years ago, I could have posted that the secret that could destroy my life was that I was a lesbian. I was 100% sure I'd kill myself if anyone ever found out. I was 100% sure that my parents would be completely destroyed and that my relationship with my parents would be ended. 17 years later, I'm out to everyone I know and getting married later this year. My life remains undestroyed.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So, it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So, investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Max earplugs today.
Throwaway account since pretty much everyone I know is on Reddit, and this would ruin a lot of my good friendships if anyone found out. Okay, so actually this is not a bad secret. But 6 years ago when I was 14 years old I decided to buy for $200 worth of Iraqi dinars, and also $200 worth of bitcoins. I didn't know shit about any of those things, but I read somewhere on the internet that there was a big upside potential for both of them. Well, today the Iraqi dinars are worth nothing, but the bitcoins that I bought was worth $600 when I sold them. I had exactly 4,000 of them, so I sold them for about $2.4 million. A lot of people would tell me that I am extremely lucky, which I probably am. But it actually ruined my life more than it didn't. For the last 2 years I have been doing nothing but sitting at home playing computer or hanging out with friends, while everyone else is studying, working, etc. I literally don't want to do any kind of work other than sitting in front of my computer or watching movies with my friends. I have become the most lazy person in the world, and I literally feel like there is no purpose for me anymore since I have always figured out that I needed a job so I could get a big income, and then enjoy the rest of my life. Well, now here I am. I have always been a huge fan of wealth. And since I achieved it somehow, I don't want to accomplish anything at all. I have become pretty depressed by being so much alone, and I don't know why, but I never told any living being about how rich I indeed am. Not even my parents. Every single day I think about killing myself, how great it would be, all my problems gone in an instant. Now, I am in therapy for depression, but I don't share those thoughts for fear of being institutionalized, even briefly, as a danger to myself. I don't think I'm a danger to myself. I've had those thoughts for quite a while without swallowing pills or a shotgun, so I failed out of college and didn't tell anyone. I lied about still being in school and pretended to go to classes. My parents still thought they were paying for my college. That is the worst part of this whole thing. I wasted 6 months and a good 5,000, if not more. Thanks everyone for your responses. It's good to know that I'm not the only one who has messed up. Smile in response to a lot of questions. My parents found out about everything when my mom was trying to get my health insurance taken care of and the insurance said that I wasn't enrolled in school. This was 5 years ago. I have since paid my parents back for the money they spent, went to community college, transferred to a 4-year, and am now about to graduate with my BS. I'll jump on the cousin humping train. My cousin is a guy I lived next door to my whole life and we are the same age, and besides both being physically attractive we are so mentally compatible. We were best friends growing up, spent every night hanging out together, and since we both had oblivious parents who paid no attention to us by 8th grade I just stopped coming home when our movie time was over, and just slept the night in his bed. A couple years later those sleepovers got rated PG-13. Or maybe R, I don't know how ratings work. My mom even noticed it one time, the chemistry we had, and said that if we decided to be together she would not judge because she already loved him like a son. But that shit is too complicated. I fell in love with someone else, and he has an amazing girlfriend. He served in our wedding and she actually caught my bouquet. We have never, ever crossed the line since we started dating other people and I don't think either of us will tell our significant others because it would do no good. He has made it clear he doesn't want to know anything about guys I was with before him, so I consider that to include my cousin. If we hadn't been cousins, but just neighbors, I'd probably be laying next to him right now instead of my spouse, but I'm really glad he was related to me because I ended up with an amazing man. I can't stop myself from lying. Half the time I lie about things that don't matter and should have just told the truth for, but I can't stop myself from doing it. All the lies I've told, big and small, all catch up to at one point or another and are seriously damaging my life. My parents and brother don't trust me at all anymore because I've done some incredibly stupid things and lied about them. I've also had to do things or tell bigger lies to cover what started out as a little white lie. Other people around me that have caught me in a lie don't know how to act around me anymore. I know I need to stop and I am trying, but the more I try to stop doing it, the more I do it. This is slowly destroying my life and my relationship with my family and there is nothing I can about it.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds any time of day.